The SIT investigation will be monitored by the CBI Director himself, said the court. The intent, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, is to assuage the erosion of faith reposed by lakhs and thousands of devotees in the sanctity of the deity, Lord Venkateshwara. Meanwhile, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, also reacted on the Apex Court's order on Platform X and said as follows: I welcome the Honorable Supreme Court's order of setting up SIT, comprising officers from CBI, AP Police and FSSAI to investigate the issue of adulteration of Tirupati Laddu. Satyameva Jayate. Om Namo Venkateshaya. Jagan Mohan Reddy, while addressing a press conference today, said as follows: even after the court order, he, that is CM Naidu, should feel ashamed for spreading false news. He is spreading blatant lies. I don't understand why he is posting on social media that the Supreme Court expressed anger towards YSRCP. The tankers were sent back 14 times during their regime, that is 2014 to 2019. A robust system has been implemented in TTD for manufacturing prasadam. Tankers are not allowed to enter for utilization without passing quality checks. 3 tests are to be conducted before the product is used. If a tanker fails to qualify in even a single test, it will be sent back without being used. Jagan Mohan Reddy's sister, and State Congress Chief Y.S. Sharmila also commented on the issue and said as follows.
Yes, we welcome the move of the Supreme Court. It is in fact a good outcome that an independent investigation be carried out on the Laddu Rao. It is really important that this be done. We, in fact, from the Congress party were the first ones to ask for a CBI inquiry. We wrote to the Union Ministry about this. We went to the governor regarding this. We also wrote to the Supreme Court asking for a suo motu. So, God's grace, this has come to pass now. We are seeing that the Supreme Court has ordered an investigation that is independent, and we welcome this. And also, we were the ones who spoke that this should not be politicized.
On 30th September, the Supreme Court came down heavily on the Andhra Pradesh government over the Laddu controversy and said, amongst other things, keep God out of politics. After an hour-long hearing, the bench observed in its order as follows. The petition pertains to sentiments affecting crores of people living in the entire world. The Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh had gone in public, making a statement that animal fat was being used to make Tirupati Laddu under the previous regime. However, some press reports also show that the Chief Executive Officer of the Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam had also made a statement that such an adulterated ghee was never used. According to the advocate appearing for the TTD, the ghee which was supplied in June until 4th of July, supplied by the same supplier, were not sent to analysis. However, it was the ghee which was received on 2 tankers on 6th and 12th July, which were sent to NDDB. It is submitted that in all the 4 samples, the ghee was found to be adulterated. It is submitted that the ghee in the samples supplied in June until 4th July were used in the production of laddus. When you have ordered an investigation through the SIT, what was the necessity to go to the press? When you hold a constitutional office, we expect the gods to be kept away from the politicians. You get the report in July, 18 September you go public. Unless you are sure, how did you go public? Very, very strong words there. The first time that the Supreme Court spoke. A day after the Supreme Court pulled up the Andhra Pradesh government for going public with its claim, the Andhra Pradesh government had paused the probe by the Special Investigation Team. Also, when former Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy wanted to visit the Tirumala, he cancelled it owing to notices which he said had been served to him and his party workers. With the reconstitution of the SIT, several questions arise, ladies and gentlemen, and the most important being, why did a newly installed government need the Laddu Prasadam to create ripples in the state? I have 2 experts who have joined me. Ajay Brahme, who is advocate of Supreme Court, and Nalamotu Chakravarti Garu, who is a political analyst for Center for Liberty. A very, very warm welcome to both of you. Ajay ji, let me first come to you. I want to know, Mr. Ajay Brahme, that it is clearly that in both times when the Supreme Court spoke, the message I keep getting is, do not politicize God. What was the hurry to go to the public and talk about it? When you ordered an SIT, what was the hurry? Do you agree with me, Ajay ji, about this?
100%. In fact, if you want like a one-liner, my opinion or my take on this, then I would say it is, in fact, much ado about nothing. There was nothing, and it was created just to kind of politicize the issue, maybe to gain some political mileage. That's what it seems. And even formation of the SIT, I think it's more because it's the sentiments of the public at large and hundreds of thousands of lakhs of devotees, which is in question. That's the reason an SIT has been formed, just to kind of assuage their sentiments, and so that over a period of time the things get sorted out, the things get cooled down.
Yeah, but
I think
Ajay
that's
ji,
what must be the motive.
yeah, but Ajay ji, the motive is also because now with the reconstituted SIT, they need to have an unbiased investigation, Ajay ji. I mean, if the
100%.
SIT is formed by me, I am the one who's blaming you. The SIT also reports into me. We need, when everyone is equal when a commission or a panel is formed, and we know the history of panels and commissions in this country. I think with the reconstituted thing and under the aegis of the CBI Director, one can then hope that it will go point by point and in a very methodical fashion to find out whether the ghee was adulterated or not.
Yes, see, one of the fundamental principles of natural justice on which this entire legal system works is that one should not be a judge in his own cause. So apparently, unless you form a neutral party or neutral and independent party, people persons constituting the SIT, I think the sentiments of public at large and so many devotees, in case you really wanted to kind of assuage their sentiments and which is in question, I think that's what should have been done.
Nalamuttu Chakravarti sir, I want to come to you. You're a political analyst, Center for Liberty. I just don't understand one thing, that the Supreme Court has come down heavily today also. They said, listen, this is pretty much like Ajay ji said, we need to assuage the feelings of crores of devotees. And they also said, we do not permit the court to be used as a political battleground. This is what the Honorable Supreme Court has said very clearly. Do you think Chandrababu Naidu jumped the gun? I mean, I don't understand. July they send it, September, 18th of September he goes in public. 100 days he's there at a function and he starts talking about adulteration of ghee without realizing that it is not just about Jagan Mohan Reddy, it's about lakhs and thousands of devotees, me included. I mean, don't you think that there is some responsibility that Chandrababu Naidu should have shown, sir?
Right. So, Sudhaji, first and foremost, just before getting on the show, I got a copy of the Supreme Court order.
All right.
It did say not to politicize bring religion into politics and use the court for their political game. But it also said it hasn't found anything wrong with the SIT or the integrity of the officers that are currently in the SIT. However, in the broader interest of the devotees across the country, they wanted to do it. Now, the question is that there are two aspects to it. One is the legal question, which Ajay ji has talked about. There is absolutely no evidence as of now that the adulterated ghee has been used in making laddus, right? However, for the past 4 or 5 years, there's been, a persistent drumbeat that quality has dropped down, has come down in terms of laddus, and the smell has been bad. In the public opinion, see, end of the day, these are politicians. They are least bothered about court cases that go on for a decade or 2 decades. I think the battle is here is in the public minds. And as far as public are concerned, they are saying, see, we've been saying, the laddus were tasting funny, they were going bad, and we didn't like the taste. And this is why. And that's where, the politics come into play. Now, the second issue is, yes, the court did say not to politicize, bring religion into politics, so on and so forth. But the whole Indian political system is driven on politics, whether it's, Babri Masjid or most of the speeches that Modi government gave before the election. So it's a mixed bag. There are two battles that are being fought. One is on the legal front, which Ajay ji has accurately portrayed. There is no conclusive evidence, but I wouldn't rule it out that they can't find evidence.
Yeah,
they just have to go back to the manufacturer.
I have to take a break now. But when I come back, Mr. Chakravarti and also Ajay ji, I want to ask you, is it a deliberate attempt? It's being made out as if deliberately someone sat there and said, let's ignore all this, let's do it, who cares? I don't think so. I don't think that is the truth. There is maybe a mistake, but I don't think it's a conspiracy. Taking a break now and coming back to discuss the Laddu controversy.
A warrior so brave he'll forever be hailed.
Maharashtra is the hit.
Maharashtra tourism. This is News9 Live, India's only digital exclusive live stream. For the early adopters, bringing you the news 24/7. For the smart audiences on the smartest TVs. News9 Live. Stream now on your smart TVs.
All right, you're watching the South Indian, and that's the first story that we are focusing on. Tirupati Laddu Rao. SC orders independent probe. I have two experts with me, Ajay Brahme, who's an advocate with the Supreme Court, and Nallamuthu Chakravarti, who's a political analyst, Center for Liberty. Very warm welcome back again to the South Indian. Mr. Ajay Brahme, I want to bring to your, notice what the lawyers were saying in court today, Ajay ji. They said that there were two assignments, 6 July and 12 July, and the TTD chairperson apparently is on record that they were not used. Said that the ghee, however, reached the hill shrine on 6th and 12th, and they were contaminated. Mr. Kapil Sibal, as you know, is one of the lawyers in the case. He said that, asked why was the contaminated lot allowed to reach the hill shrine. The other lawyer, Mr. Luthra, countered by saying that the contract was given to the supplier in December by the previous regime. I just don't understand. If all the tankers which enter the hill shrine for the making of the prasad undergo checks, how can you just sit there and say, your government did it, so we are going to sit there and wash our hands off it?
Correct.
Don't you think
Correct.
that's very strange, Ajay ji?
100%. In fact, going further, I'll go one step further. One needs to see that the FIR was lodged on 25th of September, whereas Chief Minister made his statement on 18th September itself. You are in a responsible position. How could you do this? I think that really raises. I think that is something which should be connected with what you asked. When you are making this kind of an allegation even before the FIR is lodged, that essentially shows that perhaps you wanted to save your skin, or perhaps you wanted to make something out of nothing actually. As I said right in the beginning, it was much ado about nothing. That's what is my take on this. But I think there is some malafide with which this entire issue has been rigged up, keeping at stake the emotions, sentiments of hundreds of people, lakhs of people, including you, me, and several other people. I think that shouldn't have been done. That's what is my opinion.
Right, let me now go to Mr. Chakravarti. Mr. Chakravarti, the court has again and again said, even its final order, which it dictated, and said we should not be, hurting the sentiments of lakhs and thousands of people who are residing worldwide. And, if there is an FIR, then we need to talk about. And their concentration is also on the 2 tankers supplied on 6 July and 12 July. By the way, Babu took oath in June. This happens in July. The tankers are checked at the Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam. Someone allows it. We don't even know if this ghee was used. AR Dairy of Dindigal has been blacklisted. We do not know whether it is animal fat or lard. The allegation was lard, about beef fat, about fish oil, etc., etc. They sent it to NDDB. Today they say they are the best when it comes to dairy. I wonder why there was no mention of FSSAI, the food, they are the most important. They do checks. You can't just say, oh, they even check dosas and idli batter in hotels. The point is, they are the ones who check whether your food is contaminated or not. So don't you think that more than political conspiracy, Babu just jumped the gun? Mr. Chakravarti.
See, in terms of how this testing is done, TTD has its own lab where they do some preliminary tests that the ghee has to pass through. When the preliminary tests fail is when, they've sent it to NDDB. So NDDB itself is a, quite a credible organization. They've done a scientific study. Can it be sent to FSSAI? But they probably can. The issue here is, and governments always talk about it. See, it's end of the day, it is the government that is in power that has the power to investigate. And they do talk about the cases all the time. Every state government, even central governments, when they do the cases, they come out and they talk about the cases. The question here is whether he should have waited longer. I think Babu might have hurt himself by speaking early, which allowed the Supreme Court, to get involved. It is actually a state matter. It could have been. In fact, I thought Supreme Court will push the case back to the High Court, saying go to High Court first. Get your justice. But now that he has spoken, I think Supreme Court might have thought the investigation will now be tainted because he's head of the state.
Right, Mr. Chakravarti.
Right?
I'm sorry to interject.
I do not deny that part.
All right. One last thing, and I need a 30-second answer from you, Ajayji. How long do you think will this go on for? Do you think this SIT, we know, great respect for judiciary, for the judicial system, but how long do you think? 6 months max?
With great respect to the judiciary, as I am a lawyer myself, I think the entire exercise has been done just to divert the attention of the public at large.
All right.
That is, I'm being as frank and as blunt as possible. So that the sentiments get assuaged and things get cooled down. That's what has happened.
All right. Very, very strong words there by Ajay Brahmi. Thank you so much. He was an advocate with Supreme Court for joining us on this broadcast. Nallamuthu Chakravarti sir, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. And it's time now in the South Indian to take a break, but not before announcing what's coming up on the other side. Andhra Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan calls for national level laws for protection of Sanatana Dharma. That's coming up on the other side. Just don't go away.
This is such a huge, vibrant, exciting country to be in. Every day brings a new adventure. I absolutely love it. India is now a major priority for us to engage in. You have to remember, Ireland, we're a very small country of 5 million people. We have a huge diaspora. We can talk about that later. Many, many Irish people around the globe. The Indian government is always very thorough with any proposal. They don't just sign up to everything. So of course there has to be benefits for both sides, but I really see huge opportunities in that.
This is The Diplomat.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
फौज के सोल्जर की जो इज्जत है वो हिंदुस्तान में किसी मंत्री की भी नहीं होती। हम ये चाहते हैं जो बच्चा जाए तो देश की सेवा के लिए जाता है तो देश की सेवा के अंदर ही रहे।
Somewhere around 30% of unemployment rate was there, which is 3 times the national average.
गांवों में ज़्यादा एक किसान कह रहे हैं कि बीजेपी को वोट मत दो, 50 रुपए भी मजदूरी नहीं पड़ती, उसके काम करे तो।
10 years of rule has got some anti-incumbency feeling among the public. There is no doubt about it.
The contest is largely between Congress and BJP.
Welcome back here with the South Indian. That's our second story. That's our second story. You see the actor turned politician there, up there in saffron robes. Pawan Kalyan's call to protect Sanatana Dharma. During his address at the Varahi Sabha in Tirupati, which followed his 11-day Prashchitta Diksha, which is penance, at the Tirumala temple, Andhra Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan announced the Varahi Declaration and sounded the bugle to protect Sanatana Dharma, which he alleged had come under attack in recent years. At the heart of Kalyan's declaration was a proposal to establish a nationwide Sanatana Dharma Protection Board, which would be tasked with overseeing the preservation and promotion of Hindu tradition and practices. Pawan Kalyan emphasized the need for government funding to support the board's activities, ensuring it has the resources to effectively carry out its mission.
Varahi Declaration lo కీలకమైన అంశాలు చెప్పి తర్వాత తెలుగులో చెప్తాను, ఇంగ్లీష్లో చెప్పి నేషనల్ మీడియాకి చెప్పి. Secularism must be upheld in a manner that ensures uniform response to any threat or harm caused to any religion or faith. The second point, a strong national act, I reiterate, a strong national act is required to protect Sanatana Dharma and prevent actions that harm its beliefs. This act should be enacted immediately and uniformly enforced across the Bharat. A Sanatana Dharma Protection Board should be established at both the national and state level to oversee the implementation of this act. Annual funds must be allocated to support this board and its activities.
Meanwhile, Pawan trained his guns on his counterpart in Tamil Nadu, Udayanidhi Stalin, and countered his eradication of Sanatana Dharma command. Kalyan cautioned the latter against uttering such words in the future and took to speaking in Tamil. For impact, listen in.
Whoever attacks Sanatana Dharma from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, let us all raise our voice in unison, irrespective of parties, irrespective of linguistic differences, irrespective of regional, sub-regional differences. Let us all raise our concern, let us all raise our voice as one Sanatani. Andike అందరి కోసం ఈ వారాహి డిక్లరేషన్ ప్రకటిస్తున్నాం.
You know, the question is, why does Pawan Kalyan have to shout so loudly about claiming to protect Hinduism? Where and why is Hinduism is danger in Andhra Pradesh? I just don't understand. Theirs is a new government, they have a lot of work to do, but I don't understand. I take it, it's his personal decision to go to Tirupati, whether you're doing Diksha or Anga Pradakshinam, devotees do it, I do it. But to loudly say we need a board to preserve the rights of the Hindus is a bit over the top. Won't you agree? Maybe you disagree. Let's find out. Yes, Dr. Pasupuleti Hari Prasad, he will join us in a bit. He is President Chittoor District of the Janasena Party. And also Mr. K.S. Prasad, Senior Political Analyst and Journalist is with us. Let's start with Mr. Prasad. Mr. Prasad, welcome to the show. Mr. Prasad, what is this? You know, I saw him and I just don't know. I just think that he says that this is the tip of the iceberg, and I think after the Supreme Court has spoken twice now, you know, he said that it is not just about the Tirupati Prasad, but it is about how the Hindus have been taken for a ride and how Hinduism is in danger. We need Sanatana Dharma, we need a board. Mr. Prasad, don't we have a constitution in this country?
Ma'am, good evening and good evening to the panelists and good evening to the viewers. Ma'am, it's quite unfortunate, a senior journalist like you, and you are so aware of so many things, and unfortunately we are discussing about these sort of things. I've been seeing, and you might have also seen so many times, as far as some Christian religion, the K.A. Paul meetings and all is concerned, certain times some chief ministers have been there and they are addressed certain issues. Say for instance, in the same scenario as Sringeri Peetam or Kanchi Kamakoti Peethadipati or even Hindu Parishad, if they conduct this sort of rally, and all of a sudden, if Mr. Pawan Kalyan would have been called as a chief guest and then he would have delivered all this, it makes really sense. But quite unfortunately, being a politician, being a party head, right now is the deputy chief minister of the state, and he has taken an oath on the constitution. Yes. Because ours is a country with a secular slogans and other things. The way he's talking about Hinduism, and surprisingly, the Sanatana Dharma, the primary mottos of Sanatana Dharma, if you really recollect the Chaganti Koteswara sir, what he said was, a person who was not supposed to take divorce, the person is implementing the Sanatana Dharma. Is it applicable to this gentleman? And the same thing, if you really look into the other things, the people like Kandukuri Veerasilingam and all, if they really fought against the women protection, as far as Sati Sagamana, and after the death of her husband, they're supposed to do the Siromundan and they need to wear white sari and all. And they align the NTR, is the senior NTR happened to be the president of Telugu Desam. He himself given the right in the assets as far as father's assets are concerned. These things I think he's not following it. Today, all of a sudden, out of the box, he's initiated the Diksha for the sake of protection of Laddu. And by the time Supreme Court given it different dialogues and it is not sinking as far as this politics are concerned. If you really see into, ma'am, the person who said is Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh is smartly escaped from the situation. Smartly, instead of doing the smart behavior, Purandeswari uttered certain words against the court. And the same scenario, even Pawan Kalyan is also addressing the same scenario. If you really look at it, some sort of conspiracy is going on between BJP and Telugu Desam, and these people wants to come into the limelight in the Prasad issue.
Yeah, that is, they are both, they are in alliance anyway. I mean, it is not a conspiracy, it is just a marriage of convenience. Mr. Prasad, I have to take a break now. And when I come back, I shall continue this debate with you. See you on the other side about Pawan Kalyan's clarion call for Sanatana Dharma. Don't go away.
PM Modi is the first ever Indian Prime Minister to visit Ukraine. His visit comes 2 years after around 17,000 Indian students were safely evacuated amidst the Russia-Ukraine war under his leadership. Watch Airlift, the story of how the evacuations unfolded, only on the News9 Plus app.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
It's said that out of 7 diamonds across the world, 5 are cut and polished in India. Don't forget, US is the largest consumer of, polished diamonds and the diamond jewelry. And that has taken a big beating for multiple reasons, but largely because of the consumer spending going down on these items. And that's essentially what has hit the diamond industry.
We are at a brim where you see not just one, but multiple very strong global brands coming out of India. And we will make a global mark, and I'm convinced about that.
This and more. Streaming on News9 plus News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
All right, that's what we are discussing. Pawan Kalyan's call to protect Sanatana Dharma. We have K.S. Prasad, senior political analyst and journalist with us. Mr. Prasad, if I remember right, and maybe I could be wrong, first of all, the actor that Pawan Kalyan is, that's a different story. And of course, the politician that is, because we've had NTR Garu, Jayalalitha, neighboring Tamil Nadu, MGR. So I'm not getting into that. But I remember very clearly, and correct me if I'm wrong, he once said that I've baptized. My children are baptized. I go to a church. He also visited Muslims' homes and partook of, food. Then also got into the discussion about halal and all that. I don't know. I know that politicians make you change colors, like today saffron, tomorrow green, then day after white and everything. But I don't think that he, as Janasena party with Telugu Desam, is going to be the star of Hindutva, because there is a bigger star there, and that is the BJP. This is a waste.
Ma'am, don't say that I may be wrong. You are always right. Let me admit the fact. Because you are a true journalist. Journalist will always write. And you might have seen Telugu acting journalists. That's why you are giving this sort of comparison. When it comes to this, an inconsistent man continuously making inconsistent in the consistency. This is what Pawan Kalyan is. And the way he said certain things today, tomorrow, in a movie like Ghajini, he forgets everything. And people like us to make him to remind what you said yesterday. The way he has said, I have taken the baptism along with my children, along with my friends. And suddenly, today he has taken a small kid and he has made her to give a declaration as far as Christianity is concerned. And he himself said, we are in Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism, whatever you name it as, when we are in India, we follow a tradition, Hindu traditions. Ours, my father will give my name and his gotra and everything, including his caste. But surprisingly, this gentleman's daughter, he allowed her to take baptism along with his wife. But the Sanatana Dharma, if he wants to follow, let him make first his bone straight. Then he talks anything about else. Because the tradition of Hindu families normally follows the male fraternities, Kula, Gotra, Mata, everything. But this gentleman is not at all considering himself. He have a very kind heart to allow her to pray God as far as his whims and fancies are concerned. But it comes to this, I don't know which dharma is following, but he's today smartly talking about Sanatana Dharma. That's why the changing of colors of Pawan Kalyan is concerned. He will never stick to his statement. And out of the box, if you really recollect his earlier days of political entry, he used to talk about Sarvabhaumatva. Every time, Desha Sarvabhaumatva, Desha Sarvabhaumatva. This is what he used to talk. Today, all of a sudden, he got into his mind as far as Sanatana Dharma is concerned. It continues for some days, after some other word will come into his mind. This is exactly takes place as far as Pawan Kalyan political gimmicks are concerned.
All right. Dr. Hari Prasad, President of Chittoor District, JSP, is also joined us. We were waiting for you, Hari Prasad Garu. Thank you for joining us. What is
Yeah,
with
good
this?
evening.
Good evening, sir. What is with this setting up of a Sanatana Dharma board? Dr. Hari Prasad, the last I heard, there is something called the constitution in this country. Mr. Pawan Kalyan need not take the responsibility for all the Hindus who are Sanatanis. What is this new drama, sir?
No, just don't say like that, drama and all, madam. You have to say, see, somebody should open the voice. Is a like, if something happens against Sanatana Dharma, for example, the temple like Tirumala, something goes wrong, and in this secular country, we all respect secularism.
No,
and
don't
Pawan
talk
Kalyan
about
always
Dr. Hari Prasad.
always
Let's
say-
not talk,
always-
sir. Sir, let's not talk about Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam because the Supreme Court has today spoken again. An SIT will be reconstituted.
Yeah. They have told they will form a investigation
Yes.
team which includes CBI
Yeah.
and SIT and all. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
they said
that
do
has
not
come today.
politicize God. I am,
come
sir,
today. See, when
sir, I am asking you something. That why is it Mr. Pawan Kalyan is suddenly speaking about Sanatana Dharma when at one time he said I am baptized, he said I go to the church. See, I respect all religions, Dr. Hari Prasad. I am sure.
Do you know, madam, you are Sudha, madam, do you know what is Sanatana Dharma? Yesterday he clearly
Sorry,
said
sir.
that Sanatana
Educate
Dharma
me.
includes respecting all religions, Sanatana Dharma, where it respects Buddhism, it respects Sikhism, it respects all dharmas.
Hari Prasad sir,
Pawan Kalyan sir
Hari Prasad
clearly
sir, he
said
also said that Doctor,
Hinduism, but at the same time,
sir,
at
do
the
not
same
shout,
time,
sir. I am saying
no, I'm
he
not
said
against-
he
I'm-
said pseudo secularists laughed at me. Now this pseudo secularist is not his word. He is not being original. There is some dialogue sheet someone has written. Pseudo secularist
no,
was
how can
first
you
used
say
by
that?
Mr. Lal Krishna Advani, sir.
How can you
Let me
say that?
also, I want to ask you that when your government is in power in Andhra Pradesh, recently
Somebody told you that, Sudha ji, aisa nahi bol sakte aap. Somebody has written that. How can you say that? How are
Yeah.
you? How?
Yeah, because
Do
like
you
you say, sir, let's come
now
to the
I'm
point.
speaking something. Do you think now I'm talking something? Somebody has given dialogues to me. How do you? When in a debate,
All right.
how do you?
How come a
leave
Rama
it like that?
temple?
you
How
comment
come
on
a
it?
Rama temple a month ago? Sir, answer me. Lot of temples were vandalized during Jagan Garu's regime. We know it. Chariots were burnt. How come a Rama temple? Your government is 100 days old. That is the TDP Janasena. 100 days old. A Rama temple was also desecrated recently. Of course, you caught the culprit who was someone, a YSRCP man, but it was desecrated. These miscreants, they do this mischief, no? It happens.
It happens, and definitely it will take some time. For this regarding Tirumala also, they have put a board which constitutes a CBI, a SIT, like that. 100% who has done that will find out. The India government will find out, and definitely will punish whoever does that things. In YSRCP government, there were 290 temples. They were damaged, and Rama head was cut, and in one Rath was burnt.
Yes, sir.
No, they did not took any action, and
Yeah.
no investigation has been done. Who has
But,
done it? That's what Pawan Kalyan has
I
said.
I was a
They
great,
have-
I am a great fan of Power Star. Great fan. You can check all
Then
my
how can you
shows.
say that,
But
somebody
why
has
should
done
not?
that?
But I'm also a journalist and I'm also a Sanatana
how
Dharma
can you say?
follower,
How can you
and
say
I don't think we
somebody
need
has
this
done
drama. This drama right
No, you
now,
cannot say
you
drama.
need to, it's
You
drama.
cannot say
Dr.
that
Hari Prasad,
somebody has
thank you
done
so
the
much.
dialogue.
It is,
Some-
for me,
sir,
it's
have you
drama.
seen?
Thank you so much
See,
for
I am
joining
with
us.
Kalyan,
Mr.
sir, but-
Prasad, I've completely run out of time, sir, and I know you will understand this. I have to go to the next story. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us on this broadcast. And the next story, we are focusing on Bengaluru. Bengaluru tops the list of most congested cities in India as per the Traffic Quality Index. That's coming up. Just don't go away anywhere. There you have it, Bengaluru, the most congested city, and I know a lot of people sitting in Bengaluru must be saying to each other, I told you so. And look, the South Indian has done a show on this. The tech city of Bengaluru is known for its long traffic snarls, and now it's officially the most congested city in the country. As per the Traffic Quality Index 2024, Bengaluru falls in the extreme congestion category, being the only city in the 800 to 1000 range. Mumbai ranks second on the index with a score of 787, while Delhi and Hyderabad are the third and fourth most congested cities in India, scoring 747 and 718 on the index. The Traffic Quality Index is modeled after the Air Quality Index, that is AQI, and works to provide a clear understanding of traffic conditions. Now, there are several views on this according to the Joint Commissioner of Traffic Police. He said that even AI-powered cameras have struggled to manage the intense traffic during peak hours. Can you imagine? This is a cop who manages traffic who's saying that. He also said that despite using 9,000 CCTV cameras, the traffic management still remains a major challenge. The BBMP has also observed that the government was considering several measures in order to manage the traffic in the city better. There are many steps like building tunnel roads, elevated corridors, pedestrian-friendly infrastructure, etc., etc., etc. But the point is, several ideas have been mooted time and time again. But what is the real solution now that it's staring in Bengaluru's face, the most congested city in the country? Dr. Sudhir Krishna, Chairperson of BIS Committee and former Secretary, Urban Development Government of India, is joining us. Let me welcome the guest straight away, Dr. Sudhir Krishna. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. What is the way out? I mean, when we spoke about, overhead bridges and overhead tunnels, we all spoke about how it is completely impractical to follow this. Everyone has tried their level best. The city is growing, the vehicles are growing, but they really do not know what to do about managing it.
Well, I think at the outset, good evening to you and to the viewers. And
Hello,
I think
Doctor.
this is a very challenging situation for Bangalore. And you see, my cadre is Karnataka, and I have lived in Bangalore for a long time, and I was also Bangalore Metropolitan Commissioner as well. So the problem have been analyzed, and the solution is also there, but somehow we are getting the solution little late. See, for instance, Bangalore was a city which was full of lakes and parks and houses which were like independent houses here and there. Now, over time, the lakes have been, many of the lakes have been closed and converted into built spaces. Even the open areas have been converted into built spaces. Even single-story houses have been converted into, multi-story houses. So as a result, the traffic is increased like anything. And the roads in Bangalore were normally not very wide. I mean, these were for the kind of traffic they had. So it is not able to manage. Now the way out is, what they are trying is, the right thing they are trying is to have metro. First of all, metro rail network has to increase. It is increasing, but little slowly. They must expand the metro rail network faster and reach it to beyond the normal city, core city.
Yeah,
So
So that is, Dr. Saab, that's being done, Dr. Krishna. I mean, sorry to
Exactly.
interject you. But do you think Mohandas Pai was also speaking about this issue, and he says maybe it should be now given to private players, much like airline operations. Would you agree?
See, it is privatizing public transportation system is not like it's not a very easy solution because it's a public service. Many things in public service cannot be just easily privatized. Easily means it has its own challenges and the government is in a better position to provide certain services like under supervision of government, some privatization can happen. I'm not saying that it should be out, but completely thinking that giving to a private body will resolve the problem, I don't think that is realistic. Because if buses are not put on the road, they should put more buses on the road. They should put more metro lines on the road, number one. And number two, what is very critical, what Bangalore is trying to do now, which should have been done 10 years at least before, is develop the satellite town ring road. The satellite town ring road was planned something like 15 years before, but it has been now taking shape now. So that what happens is the activities should move out of core city, and you should not feel that you are living in oblivion, because there should be good connectivity.
Right.
Good connectivity.
Yeah, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, the other thing is that look at it, the cops have tried, there are lots of ideas by urban planners. The city is growing exponentially. I mean, we see it, vehicles are growing. There is one thing which was so wonderful about whether it is Bangalore or Chennai, public transport system. somewhere, although the politicians have made it free for women, free for everyone, the public transport system, I think, needs to be more vibrant. Would you agree, Dr. Krishna?
Absolutely. You see, Delhi is a case in point. Some 20 years ago, Delhi used to be hugely congested, and today it is not that it is the ideal situation, but much better than before, because the Delhi metro has expanded much more than other metros. You know, Bangalore metro is also expanding, but I think expansion is not very fast. They should expand the network of Bangalore metro faster. Bangalore Transport Corporation, BMTC network should also increase faster. And then satellite towns should be, taken up. And some flyover underpasses have to be developed. There is no option. There is no option but to create more flyovers and underpasses. Though sometimes I don't like too much of concretization of city. But when the traffic problem is so high, we should develop. And I would say one more thing, that walkways, it is very difficult to walk. If you want to take a bus from home to the bus point, it is challenge to reach, because walkways are very narrow and sometimes they are not available for comfortable walking.
Right.
So if walkways are improved, people can walk from home to the bus stop or metro station with confidence, and then, this will reduce the traffic. Otherwise, you feel like taking your motorcycle or scooter or car, whatever you have, because starting from home itself is a challenge, So these are the things which will reduce the traffic on road. I think solution is not very difficult. It is possible.
It's possible, but if you have the will, then you will have the way. Dr. Sudhir Krishna, thank you so much for joining us. And sorry about this entire thing. Ladies and gents, Bengaluru has been declared as the most congested city in India. There are solutions, but like I said, will the politicians allow it? That's the moot question. All right, now the South Indian has come to an end for today, and as promised, I leave you with some of the other top stories from the south of India. Thank you for watching. Vanakkam.
Joe Biden is not going to be the Democratic presidential nominee.
I made my choice. Kamala Harris. She's experienced. She's tough. She's capable.
I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
I am the one saving democracy.
He has tapped into the fear and anxiety about demographic change in the US.
This polarization in the United States. Some people are even suggesting that there could be a civil war.
You are this unable to solve your own domestic problems. You have no right to claim to be anybody else in the world, and we're moving into a multipolar world where the United States will not lead.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
In the heart of New York, an Indian spectacle unfolds. Step into the world of the elite saga. Featuring influential Indians who've rocked the globe. From culinary geniuses.
This has been nothing less than a dream.
To the wisdom of sages.
And which is why success can never be spelt without you.
Discover the stories behind the stars. Experience the magic behind the scenes. At the first Indian event,